today's gonna be one of those random days. And before I go wherever it is that I don't know where I'm going, I wanna say thank you to Chris in Fort Montgomery, New York, for sending cigars, tobacco, I'm assuming that's what keeps. We're starting the day with this. And a fuel card, which we will save for a Thursday. But today, so here we go. Today, we grabbed the gear bag, we grabbed the camera, we laid up a great cigar from our friend Chris, and we hit the road. Somebody say coffee? So realistically, coffee is absolutely a necessity for doing any of this. 2, the potential of surface finds.
Hi. Good, how are you? Thank you.
Well, I'm up 1, so that's not bad. 1988. So what was going on in 1988? Box office hits like Rain Man and Coming to America.
97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102.
The top song was Roll With It, Baby by Steve Winwood. And the cost for 1 gallon of gas? 91 cents. It is so bright out, I actually need sunglasses, which I rarely wear, but the weather has been typical for New England. One day it's 45 degrees. The next day it's 90 degrees. And then the next day it's raining. But today it's a beauty. And here we go. Let's make it up as we go. I just want to stop and look at something and show it to you because things like this intrigue me. See out there? That's currently what is now the main road. And over here is currently the old road. This is still actually a chunk that's in use. They use it as a fire lane. But on the other side, we have what we refer to as a dead road. And this is a section that has not been in use for a long time. And as you can see, it's overgrowing. You can see the embankment, what's left of pavement, the other embankment. And as we've shown you in Stealth Diggers videos, we have walked dead roads that have only been out of service for 50-something years, and it literally is almost gone. This pavement just dissolves. Mother Nature takes back over. To me, that's just remarkable. I don't know, there's something about this that has always intrigued me. You think of when was the last time somebody in a car drove down here. I mean, right where I'm currently kneeling down is already covered. Pine needles, space dust, dirt, and it won't take long before the rest of that disappears. But at this point in the timeline, it's been turned into a walking path, which is great. All right, let's go check out another view. Haven't been down here in a while, and I just want to give it an eyeball. The hell was that? Not only a beautiful lake, but pretty interesting. Yeah, this is great down here. It's about 350 acres. Now the thing that's interesting about this lake is it feeds into its own river, and it's actually one of the only rivers in the United States that runs north. That's a pretty cool fact. Nowadays it gets plenty of activity. There's some boats out there. I don't know, people fish down here. I just like the fact that you can drive right up to it and find yourself a nice little spot to chill. Keebs.
Hey.
What are you doing?
Just hanging out now. Well, it's not Thursday.
It definitely is not Thursday. Any ideas?
Well, you want to do that Amos Fortune?
Amos Fortune. You know, whenever I hear that name, I cannot think of anything else but the Jerry Reed song, Amos Moses.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll be over in a flash. I was sneaking up on you in your national habitat. Oh, gravity. It's like an auto door.
Yeah.
Watch this.
New technology.
Beautiful. All right, so this is going to be very cool. We're going to take a drive. We're going to go over to visit a historic spot where a historic person lived and share some history. Engage.
Enough to know I can decide. Just a little bit closer now. I can make it anyhow. I can make the sun come out tonight.
All right, we've stopped and we've seen the meeting house in my town. Let's pull over and stop for a second and show them this meeting house, because there is a very cool story behind it, not only being a magnificent building, but one of our favorite stories.
Yeah.
So let's check this out.
The sky, just a little bit closer now. I can make it anyhow. I can make the sun come out tonight.
Right on time.
So what's really remarkable about when this meeting house was built is
The day it was raised was the day of the Bunker Hill battle.
and when the men were working up there, supposedly and reported, they could actually hear the cannon fire.
Which is not out of the question. It's a straight shot, even line of sight.
Yeah, we're at some elevation here, so that's a pretty chilling point in history, but the fact that they could actually hear what was going on is just astounding.
Right. And then the reports came the next day via horseback
Right.
of the battle.
Right. So again, this is one of those places that we just absolutely cherish, and you know, it's like that old folklore tale that every time we drive by it, we talk about it, you know? So, all right, on to Amos. All right, so here's the first stop along our journey, and in the state of New Hampshire, we have all kinds of historical markers like this.
There's 246 of these throughout the state of New Hampshire. We're going to hit them all.
Yeah.
All right, Amos Fortune, 1710 to 1801.
So now that we have established our story, which is going to be Amos Fortune, I want to see his house.
Let's do that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's still standing. It's again another historical spot.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go do that. So this is where the second part of our story takes us to the home site of
Amos Fortune. I guess he raised this in 1789. As you can see, it's a small, modest little home for he and his wife.
And before we get deeper into the story, I just want to give you something as a example to look at. As you know, we are metal detectorists and we do a lot of home sites from this era. A lot of viewers have asked, what did those homes actually look like? Well, here's a prime example. That's probably about the average.
Yeah, kind of small. You know, the foundation has been built up throughout the years, throughout preservation, but it's rock lined inside, and there's some cut granite, and I think even around the other side there's even a little bit of concrete.
And as you can see when you see us working a cellar hole, here it is. Here's the lip. Here's where the back soil that came out of the hole comes down and goes out to the road. Now,
Where he's rested.
let's go visit Amos. Wow. Wow.
Pretty rose quartz.
Yeah, you're not kidding. So here lay Amos Fortune. And the interesting thing about Amos Fortune,
Amos Fortune was born in Africa, and at the age of 15 he was captured along with a lot of other people in his village.
the majority of his village, right?
The majority of his village. His father was shot. His father was actually the head of the clan, so he was actually a prince. And he was 15 years old in the year of 1725 this happened.
So Amos was brought to Boston, Massachusetts, where unfortunately he was sold.
Into slavery.
And then he ended up in Woburn, Massachusetts. Now the interesting thing about that, and what kind of directed him in his professional life, is he ended up becoming
A tanner.
a tanner.
That's what his owner was, so he learned his trade.
Woburn, Massachusetts was one of the largest tannery industry locations in all of America. And to this day, believe it or not, it's actually toxic wastelands of America because of that. But it gave Amos a profession.
Yes, he worked there and became very, very good until he saved up enough money and he bought his freedom in 1769.
Right, and that's what makes the story of Amos so remarkable. And when Amos passed on, I was resting right here, he actually donated all of his estate, worldly belongings.
He gave some to the parish that he belonged to. He was a Christian, and a scholarship fund at the local school.
Yeah, so just a fascinating bit of local history for us, and gives you a perspective of the way things were in the colonial days. So Amos, just like many of the other colonists, lived reputably and died hopefully at the age of 91.
91.
As we find with so many of the tombstones that we read around here and read in history, people, there was a lot of longevity.
It sure was. Even though he was working in toxic brew
Right, exactly.
all day long, his whole life.
So that's it for this episode of Not Thursday, where
It's not Thursday.
and anything can happen.
Yes, I hope you enjoyed our little story, bringing New Hampshire's history to you.
See you soon. Now where are we going?
We're gonna get you some happy birthday ice cream.
I'm getting a happy birthday ice cream.
Woohoo!
It was a few days ago, but as you know in the continuum, time is irrelevant.
Whoa! Yes, chocolate truffle. Is that the end of your designated time?
Time, man, I'm not even halfway through this thing. How about you?
Same.